Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got full Rocky Marciano out there.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Oh, this hard goddamn work being this good.
One more again, see what I take on your front side, I swear.
You ain't my daddy, are you?
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What time is it? Damn proof.
Okay. We are back with the Don't Be Blasé podcast. We are coming to you live from the House of Pain, otherwise known as Snap Fitness Adelaide CBD. I'm your host, B. Caruana, joined as always via satellite by my man Steve Burrows.
There you go, buddy.
Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Larry and Lad. Go see the boys in Region Arcade, get yourself an awesome coffee, listen to some pretty sweet tunes. But for now, on with the show. Now, Stephen.
Yes, B.
You are coming live via Skype, so if it sounds shit, blame Steve, because Steve still retired. Not just a gimmick, not something he was just fucking around with. Legit retired, doesn't want to go back to work. He's done.
I'm done. And I can't talk too loudly, guys, because little man Samuel's sleeping. So, I can't get too revved up, although I'm sure Speed will do his best to roll me up. But for the sake of Samuel having a nice afternoon sleep,
yes,
and keep this one on the DL.
So we are coming to you live from the House of Pain and Daddy Daycare for the sounds of things. Well, run us through your day now, Steve. Like, tell us, what are you doing? Just
I tell you what, man. I tell you what, I've got this new respect for all the house mums out there.
Yeah.
My mum, your mum. The mums that sort of like had to hold a household together.
Yeah.
Look after their kids, get the kids, dinner, bathed every night, run them back and forth from school.
Yeah.
Keep the house tidy, plus get into the gym and do my own stuff, plus try to get some business stuff up and running, plus look for some part-time work. It is hard work. So I give all the props to all the mums out there over the years who have held up a household. It's tough work, man.
So you're doing all the dad stuff. You're doing all the, you're doing the assistant mum gear.
It is, man. And
did you get anything for Mother's Day, more importantly?
Did I get a Mother's Day? No, I didn't. But the wife, man, I tell you what, she's got it pretty good. She just strolls in after work, throws a handbag on the bench, usually dinner's cooked, the house is tidy. And she'll go on and watch Housewives and Game of Thrones without a worry in the world.
Good on her. She deserves it. She had to carry those little kids. She deserves to put her feet up now while you're doing nothing during the day.
Well, it's not nothing, man. I'm flat out, dude. I'm flat out all the time, man. It's crazy.
Just Googling everything. How do I do this?
That's right. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with myself now. I'm looking at all types of jobs, and like I said, I've got my little business aspirations and stuff that keeps ticking over.
Are these things we can discuss on the show, or are you keeping these under the hat?
I'll just keep on the deal for a little while.
Just slowly working behind the scenes.
Exactly, just kind of simmering there. So it's a cooking term I've learned in the last couple weeks.
You're really just doing this. You're really working this well. You see yourself as somewhat of a Santa with muscles, sort of Hulk Hogan style set up bad movie dad. But you're doing it right. You're doing it right, Steve. We need more.
It's going good, man. It's good. Anyway, I do enjoy it. Like I said, it's just flat out. So, we'll see what happens.
We need more on the Steve front because we need to know what is going on with said challenge.
Oh, the Rocco challenge.
The Rocco weight loss extravaganza challenge. How are we doing, Stephen?
Well, we're 2 weeks in. We're 2 weeks in as of yesterday.
Yep.
I started at 95.5. And I was about 95.2 this morning.
There you go. That's 300 grams of gains.
It is, man. It is. So, look, the thing is, though, I think there's a bit of a conspiracy here behind sugar because I haven't eaten any chocolate in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've drunk no beer in the last 2 weeks.
That's you.
Clean eating all the way. And I've lost 300 grams. I just don't know what's going on, buddy. I think it's a bit of a scam.
What?
This whole, because I was eating chocolate and I was 95.5. Now I'm not eating chocolate. I'm 95.2, and that could have been just because I went to the toilet before I saw on the scales.
Well, you know how it doesn't work instantaneously, Steve. Are you aware of this?
2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks is
creating habits, and you got to remember you are, you're north of the good years of your life. You're pushing 40 real hard, and it's going to take a little bit longer, Steve, than it did when you were like, when you're like 18, you just like, did 5 push-ups, ate like a salad and went, oh, check it out, I got abs. You're going to have to work this one a little bit harder, Steve. Your metabolism does slow down as you get older.
I've even just started doing cardio.
Yeah.
I've even started doing cardio, but I do need some tips because, there's only a certain amount of cage you can do on the treadie.
Yeah.
I started doing the ropes. The ropes, I remember.
Oh, the battle ropes? Yeah.
Yeah, about 15 seconds of them non-stop, and then, I burn out.
In fairness, you don't need to do them for terribly long time. If you hit them hard and just sort of, work your 20, short bursts. We always do the 20 seconds on 10 rest. That will burn you out pretty quick, yeah.
And I started doing the Stairmaster as well, the Stairmaster.
Mate,
that's hard work, man.
It's hard work, and if there's anything that you don't need to try to improve the strength on, it's the size of your ass, Steve. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's seen Steve in person, but he is rocking a set of glutes that Serena Williams is jealous of. You have a big booty, Steve.
Cheers, buddy. But Rocco, yeah, I think he's in a similar boat to me. I think he's, fighting a good fight, and I'm not sure how he's going for. Because I haven't really seen him around. I think since we did the challenge, we sort of like haven't bumped into each other. So I'm not sure how he's going, but we keep texting each other just to keep pushing ourselves along.
More importantly, if he's putting all this work into himself and self-improvement, how's that patch of greenery looking across the road? Is he?
Oh, mate. No, that nothing happens, mate. That lawn is still pristine. He was out there yesterday mowing it.
Yeah.
That won't change. That won't change. And you know what? Speaking of which, my lawn's not looking too shabby either.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of rain last week. All that rain that came in.
I think we've had enough of the Steve show. We're talking about Rocco now.
Okay.
Is he doing the lawns in the big tracksuit and stuff like that, so you can't see what's going on underneath?
Oh, I don't know. I can hear it from time to time. Usually I'm doing the dishes or something when it happens, so I can't poke my head out there or anything like that, doing the vacuuming or something.
Just walking out with your gloves on.
Definitely happening. He's definitely keeping it, and it looks pristine, man. It looks unbelievable. The reason it also looks unbelievable is because the next door neighbour. Here's a bit of lawn chat for you. The next door neighbour, he went for the seeds. Yeah. He went for the seeds. So, oh no, would you believe it? We're about 10 minutes in, and little Samuel is not too happy. I think you can hear me.
He's alive and well.
Hear me chat.
He's a lot more entertaining than you are, Steve.
I've got the old Oricom video. What is it called? Like a little video that looks in his room, and he's standing up.
Yeah.
We might have to pause this.
All right.
We don't often do edits, but this might be one of them.
We'll do a little stop for half a second. We'll get right back into it. Give you 2 seconds. And we are back. So we have a new host as well.
A new special guest.
Spee and Snamuel.
Snamuel, he's not too happy. He usually sleeps for a good 2.5 hours, and he's only given me a little bit over an hour. So just another challenge of the old house husband. Dealing with a grumpy child. Was that?
He's adding a whole new wrinkle to the show.
He is. I'll tell you what's cool about Snammel is he walks around. Do you remember the little old Hasbro WWF figures?
Yeah.
He has got the Hulk and the Warrior.
Yeah.
And he just walks around. Hey, Samuel, can you say Hulk and Warrior? No, he can't. He's not happy at all. So he's just going to stay here with me.
I'm not a performing monkey, Dad.
All right, little buddy. You just chill out. All right. So, yes, otherwise, Rocco's lawn is killer. My lawn is good. But that's right. That's what I was saying. So, his next door neighbour.
Seeds.
He went for a seed option.
Yeah.
Is this like the seed option has not come up very well at all. It is patchy. It's patchier than top of my head. It is shocking. Yeah, and just by contrast, being right next door to Rocco, he's having a bit of a hard time of it. So, yeah, I know he has asked Rocco for some advice, and I don't think even Rocco can get that one out up and running.
Well, it's good to know that these guys are still bonding over the grass.
Oh yes, of course.
The competition hasn't gotten too fierce that you can't be friends anymore.
No.
But speaking of competition, Steve, we are in the NBA playoffs.
We are.
Now, have you been keeping up to date with the basketball?
I have. I've kept up to date with most of it. I've just watched Toronto and Milwaukee today, and I watched Golden State and Portland yesterday.
So, what are your predictions for a final?
Well, I think Golden State. I think definitely will go through. even without Kevin Durant. Well, I'm not sure even when he'll come back, but I don't know. They looked pretty good yesterday. Toronto, Milwaukee. I'll tell you what. Toronto had its moments today. They didn't even play very well, but they kept in it. Cole Lowry, who I think is one of the most overrated players in the NBA, kept him in that game.
He actually had
was
one of the best games I've ever seen.
Sorry?
He did have one of the best games I've ever seen him play.
He was just hitting everything. So that was pretty cool. But, I tell you, I think that series could go 6 or 7, and you might have to see another Kawhi Leonard hit a three-pointer in the buzzer, hit the rim 12 times and drop. I don't know.
That's the moment I want to bring
exciting
up.
Series.
Because we watched that one last week. The Game 7, the buzzer beater from Kawhi to knock out Aussie Ben Simmons and the Sixers.
Yes.
Now, I've never seen 20,000 people hold their breath like when that shot went up, because you could hear it go thunk, thunk, thunk. The only time I've ever heard a ball bounce off a rim that loudly, because in a packed stadium, was when John Starks missed the free throws. You know, in the Reggie Miller 9 points in 8 seconds game.
Yeah. Of course.
That one there, like when Starks got fouled, took the shots, and the first one clanked off the rim. It was the only other time I've heard like a home team take a shot at their home, like in their own stadium, in their own building, in the playoffs, and you could actually hear the ball bounce off the rim.
Yes.
It was unbelievable.
And the Kawhi Leonard shot, just to get there into the corner, like falling away, ridiculous, ill-advised shot.
Embiid in his
for it to
face.
go in Game 7.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, in Embiid's face. Hey, Sam, was that, mate? Did you think of that as well? What do you think? Yeah, that's right. So it was a crazy shot. It was a great way to finish that series. The Portland-Denver series was awesome as well.
Can we just go on the fact that I think your son's first word was just Embiid?
He's hilarious. Look, man, you want to get down, mate? And you go watch Toy Story. No? Okay. So it's been a good playoff series so far. I was glad that Houston went out. I'm not a big fan of Houston.
Oh, so glad they
I'm
went
glad
out
that Houston had Chris Paul this time. Golden State Warriors did not have Durant, yet Golden State still did the job. So that will put a few people to quiet who was carrying on last year, I would suggest.
Well, it's funny how teamwork tends to win the day.
Yes.
And now we've had the draft lottery. And myself, Nick, Big J, everyone that has a soft spot for the New York Knicks just had their dreams just torn and shattered and just had their heart ripped out of their chest. Because the New Orleans Pelicans, the shittest franchise in the NBA, have the number 1 pick yet again.
And who do you think they'll go for?
Oh, well, I don't think anyone's going to go past Zion Williamson.
Exactly. That's crazy, isn't it? So do you think he'll somehow still end up in New York, or do you think this is a done deal? He will be in New Orleans come October.
Well, I'm thinking, there's one Hail Mary option, which I think is outstanding. There is, obviously this happened before in other sports where players have refused to play for certain teams and asked, don't draft me because I'm not going to play for you. Now, Zion Williamson hasn't signed with an agent.
Okay.
Therefore, if he chooses, because he knows he's going to get picked by the Pelicans and doesn't want to go there, he can still go back to college.
Oh, okay.
So
and how does that affect him being nominated for the draft later? Does it affect him or not?
Nope, he can still nominate again next year. He can. You can nominate for the draft and then pull out as long as you haven't signed with an agent. Because once you sign with an agent, you therefore lose your quote-unquote, what's the name? Amateur status.
Amateur status. You become professional. Okay.
Yeah, so now he has not done that yet. So he is still eligible to kind of go, change my mind, I'm going back to school. So he can almost hold up like the Pelicans and go, look, I don't want to play for you.
Yeah.
Give the pick to somebody else, like trade the pick to somebody else.
Not to Memphis, obviously, who I think got number 2 pick. Is that right?
Which is also a terrible choice. Like, literally, I was like my boys, like the Lakers, and when it went to the ad break, we're going to decide the top 4 coming back from the break. It was like the Lakers, the Knicks, and I'm thinking, okay, if they go 1 and 2, I'm going to be a happy man. And then they went 4 and 3. It was like, it was terrible. But that is an option. That is a Hail Mary option. Or he might just do the thing and just go play it out. You don't know.
Yep.
It's thrown the NBA into chaos right now. So
would Anthony Davis sign on to New Orleans, you think, if Zion joins?
No, he's already said he still wants out.
Regardless.
Yeah, still wants out regardless. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go then. Interesting stuff.
He is a transformative star, but they usually do take a few years to get good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, no matter how good the rookies are, they still take a while before they become the kind of guys you can win a championship with. Now, Anthony Davis is reaching his like absolute prime, so you can't see him wanting to waste any more years with just a kid. So
Yeah. Did you see there's someone made a comparison between Zion and Carmelo's freshman years in college?
Oh, really?
And Melo scored more and I think rebounded the same.
yeah,
So that's something.
how did the assists comparison go?
They didn't even make the stat sheet. They
funny
didn't
about that.
even put that
Yeah.
up. So it must have been just points, rebounds, blocks, or something like that.
And defensive efficiency because Melo played at Syracuse where they just play zone.
Well, you know, you can't. That was the time he played in.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be a victim of circumstance. That's where he played.
Yeah.
That's when he played, and he dominated.
Did he now? Yeah. No, young Melo was good. Old Melo, not so much. Now, Steve, we do have some wrestling coming up. For you to be excited about.
Yep.
Next Friday night,
Yes.
Friday the 24th, we have our next HQ Super Clash 2.
And will Rocky Monero be appearing?
Rocky Monero will be there. I've just got off the phone with him. He's very excited.
now, are you Rocky Monero's agent? Is
Yes.
he considered a professional?
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's been professional for a long time. It's professional
Okay,
wrestling,
okay.
Steve. It's a legitimate sport. We all
Yes.
know this. Yeah. So I think there's a press conference coming up soon. But no, next Friday night at the HQ complex in the city.
Oh, that's
in
cool.
the heart of the Adelaide CBD. There will be a show on. So that would be myself and Chris Basso once again
Okay.
going toe to toe. So this should be a good match. It should be a good night. So. Got a few matches on the card. We've got a tag team no DQ match. We've got a title match between Big Kurt Barron and Zach Sabbath. It's all still will be happening, Stevie. You're gonna come down, Stevie. You reckon you get the daddy daycare duties off for the night?
Well, what's it worth? What's a ticket worth to come to one of these matches?
Well, you know I don't like follow-up questions, Steve. All I know is you go through Mosh Ticks and you get your tickets there. But,
Yeah,
you know, I might be
okay.
able to, I'll, being sort of the agent and spokesman for Rocky Monero, I might be able to organise a couple of tickets for you, Steve.
Oh, okay. We'll see how we go then. So when's that? Next Friday? Next
Friday
Saturday?
the 24th of May.
Okay, that sounds cool. Excellent. All right, I might head down there.
Well, speaking of adventures, this is back to Spee. I last weekend spent the weekend in a place that I always thought that I hated, and I went to Sydney for the weekend.
Why do you hate Sydney for? Or why do you think you hate Sydney for?
Because it stinks. No, I went as a young man, went in my early 20s and went out and tried to do the whole nightclubby thing and going out in nightclubs in Sydney is horrible. It was horrible back then, and apparently it's even worse now because of all the lockout laws and stuff like that. And
Right.
when I was sort of young, I just didn't enjoy it. It just felt very hostile, the whole place.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back a couple of years later for work when I was at Fitness First, spent the day in Bondi Junction. It was just, I got stuck in traffic for like 2 hours and everything was busy. I just thought, I just don't need this place in my life.
Yeah.
But our man Patrick, that lives up there, I've been meaning to go visit him for a few years now, and I finally pulled the trigger and to visit him purely because as of now he's been deployed and the young man's on his way to the USA for 4 months. He's going to be on the Virginia and Maryland doing all the sort of Navy stuff. And then
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, be in Japan for a couple of months. So he's not back till Christmas. So
Okay.
I finally, pull the trigger and go visit him.
And what did you do in Sydney?
It changed. I did a lot of drinking. I can tell you that much. We one thing I noticed is beers in Sydney ridiculously cheap. Cheap, yes. And you don't think Sydney and cheap in the same sentence.
No, definitely not.
Apparently, it's because they put a lot of their taxes on the roads, and like the tolls and that sort of stuff. Whereas in Adelaide, we just put everything on. Like we don't put tolls anywhere, but we chuck all that extra tax on the booze. That's how it's been explained to me by someone that I train.
Okay.
But just genuine 80s prices. Just going to a pub and getting like a big imperial pint for about $8. I was very happy with that.
And did you go see any sport while you were there?
We did. We went to the SCG. Went and saw Sydney versus Essendon.
Yep.
And it was funny because you sit in the stands. Like I got free tickets through a client of mine.
Yep.
It works for QBE, so sponsor the Swans. So I thought it says, if you can wear any Swans apparel, that'd be good. So I thought, well, I got free tickets, so I'll buy a scarf. So I wore my Swans scarf. We're sitting up in the stands and stuff like that, and Paddy's going for Essendon, I'm going for Sydney, just for banter. And these people behind us, a few people going for Essendon, this and that, blah blah blah. But then you start hearing something, and then someone says something, Adelaide, and you all of a sudden, when you're interstate, you're like, ears prick up, you're like, hey, what are you going to say about Adelaide, mate? And we just get very defensive. So anytime someone tries to say something bad about Adelaide, it was just like, right, it's on, we're on. But it was a very good game, had fun there. The SCG, very good selection of food with their thing, which is very important. What's important? You go to the Adelaide Oval, you've got the choice of like a hot dog or like a stale pie or some cold chips. That's about it, and they all cost about $30 each.
Yeah.
Whereas the SCG actually had some other options. There's a few different food stalls. There was one called Wicket Chicken, which I thought was good because it was like wicket, like cricket, and chicken. It was just, me and puns. It fucking won me over. But it was a good weekend. We went I even did the old man swim in the morning. We went down to Bronte and did our recovery swim.
Oh, shit.
In the morning.
Isn't that what who was our Prime Minister used to get in the budgie smuggler? He used to head down there, didn't he? What's his name? One of the guys who got ousted.
Yeah, well, there's several. I know the one you're talking about. The one
that
no one
Abbott.
Really likes. Abbott, Tony Abbott, that's right. Yeah, I didn't go the budgies. I do own budgies, didn't go the budgies. Wouldn't really matter anyway. The water was that cold, there was shrinkage. I wasn't trying to fucking represent anything. But I did find, those rock pools they have there? There's like sort of like a pool built into the side of near the beach and stuff like that.
Sure.
Seawater. Mate, amazing. So we jumped through there, and my hangover on Saturday morning just disappeared. It was like I'd been baptized. I came through, I went under the water, came up the other side, headache gone, body felt fine. I was like, this is amazing. I need to be here more often. And yeah, so we had a good swim. We spent the whole day Saturday drinking and checking out Newtown and all these other fancy places. Then we went and watched the showdown. We had a good weekend.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did you get to go to NRL, or did you even think about going to NRL?
I did think about going to NRL, but it turns out, and this is the most ridiculous thing, NRL, dumb sport at the best of times. But they do this thing called Magic Round.
Okay.
Now, Magic Round means every game is played in the same place. So every game last weekend was played in Brisbane. So I think they were all at Suncorp, and every game was in the same place. Now, is that the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your life?
What do you think about that, Samuel? All right. He's trying to get my attention. Yes, that is ridiculous. So where was that played? So I did see a rugby game at the SCG, and it was empty, man. And it was a big game. It was between the Roosters and one of the other Sydney teams.
Well,
and
it
was
Sydney teams. There's two states that really represent rugby.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it, man. And because when I went to Melbourne, when we went to Formula One, I was going to go check out the NRL.
Yeah.
And they were playing at Etihad, and it was Melbourne Storm versus some team. I can't remember what it was. And the thing is, the tickets were like $70.
Are you kidding?
$70, and the thing is they didn't even fill the stadium. It was like half filled.
Of course, it's $70 for 80 minutes of shit sport. You
Exactly.
understand why.
I don't understand. I always felt like what they should do, like the National Soccer League here, or the A-League, is that they should drop the prices right down. And fill that stadium up. So you get a following, you get an atmosphere, you get a because no one wants to watch a sport with no one in the stands.
No.
He's like, well, why am I watching this? This doesn't seem very important. Why would I be watching this? So, to me, and you would fill up the stands by dropping those prices down to about $30. Fill up the stadiums. You're going to get more of the concessions. You're going to get more of the merch. To me, it just seems like a smarter business deal.
Is this what you're working on at home during your...
It's part of my, taking over the world plots. Yes, that's right. This is part of it, yes.
Well, we can talk about sports, because this can...
Segue? Oh my God, I haven't done that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is going to segue into something right in your wheelhouse, Steve.
Oh, here we go.
All right, sporting events.
Okay.
Last week.
Yes.
Run me down your thoughts on the comeback from Liverpool. And now also run me through your thoughts as a diehard Liverpool supporter like our man Patrick and my brother Dennis. People that know Liverpool know you have gotten yourself to the Champions League final.
Yes.
How much are you going to lose it by? Because you've already lost the league by a point. And it's all setting you up to do the league loss, Champions League loss double.
It'll be heartbreaking, won't it?
Yep. That would just be par for the course, wouldn't it?
Oh, well, I mean, to be honest with you, going into that second leg, who actually thought we're going to have a chance? It was like 3-0 down. You're playing against the best team in the world. Suarez, Coutinho, Messi, obviously all up front. One of them was going to score one, right?
Yeah.
And then you got your Liverpool, who are missing their probably two best strikers. Although, having said that, Mane, I think he won the Golden Boot this year. But Salah, who's broke the record last year for goals. Firmino, who's been fantastic. Both those guys were sitting on the bench. They were unavailable for the weekend. So to think that we're going to win, to get 4 goals against the best team, and to prevent them from scoring, it was crazy. So for that win, for that result, that was incredible. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And the whole time, every time Barca went forward, you're like, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be the heartbreaker, and they didn't. So the second part of that is the heartbreaker about the league. To go through the league and lose only one game all season, and to be and I think the one game Liverpool did lose was against City. I think they lost 1-0. I think midway through the season. That's from my recollection anyway. To score 97 points or whatever it was, which
is the third
must
highest
be a
total,
record.
I think, in history of the Premier League.
Exactly, and still not to win the league. It's just like, man, it's not your year. It's not your year. So, to play against Tottenham in the Champions League final, I'm very confident we'll win. But as the universe tends to do, screw with Liverpool a bit. I can see us losing that game.
So are you going to get up and watch it? Is that
Oh, definitely, yeah. I was on to my boy Brett. He's a big Liverpool fan. We're talking about getting together and checking it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's usually played on a Saturday night, I think, from memory. So I won't have work in the morning. That was a joke. I don't have work any time. But we'll get up and watch the match and, see how we go.
Very good.
Yeah.
Alrighty, see, we need your little segue again.
Segue.
Because we're going to wrap up with our all-timer for an all-timer. Now, Steve.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, we did this with Bruce Willis.
Yes.
And I found that the results were somewhat, like artist suggestion, a bit mixed.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone did seem to agree that those two were the dominant films, and it is hard to pick between the two. I mean, a lot of people were stuck with the classic, but it is one of those ones that sort of, they're both great, so, why do you have to choose?
Yes.
Now, this week, you've brought one to my attention.
Yes.
Run us through your all-time for an all-timer this week.
Well, this one I'm going to go similar vintage.
Yeah.
A little bit older, actually, but similar vintage. And in my opinion, he almost got on my team. Remember we did the Action Heroes team?
Yeah, your really bad selection of Action Hero team. Yeah, I remember that.
He was in the original 5. He got benched though after I got total criticism. But that was Harrison Ford. And the character he played obviously was Indiana Jones, the toughest archaeologist going around.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's do it. Let's do Harrison Ford because he has done some absolute belters of films.
Has he?
Some absolute belters of films, and some of the most iconic characters in Hollywood. I mean, obviously Indiana Jones is one of the best ones, but also Han Solo.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
2 of the biggest, when you think about iconic characters, that they've gone through 3, 4, 5 films each.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Rocky.
Well, don't put him on the same category as Rocky.
Yeah, almost.
You're lucky you're not
the
the
thing
same
about Star
room as me,
Wars
'cause
must
we
be
would
the
fight.
biggest brand ever in movie, probably next to Marvel.
I think next to Fast and the Furious.
Just because you bring out 12 films, man, doesn't mean anything. But so I'm thinking, Harrison Ford, that's my guy. And I'm tossing up Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
Well, because you got to pick a movie, Stephen, not just a character.
Well, okay, Indiana Jones or Star Wars, and it would be very hard to. Oh, I guess no, we could pick probably Empire Strikes Back.
Isn't that the one where he gets
Raiders of the Lost Ark?
So Empire Strikes Back is the one where he gets frozen.
At the end, he gets frozen.
At
yes.
the end, he gets frozen.
At the end, he gets frozen in the carbonite stuff.
Yeah.
But or Raiders of the Lost Ark.
So you got to pick one, Steve.
Well, let's throw it to you, man. What have you got? Because there's only 2 choices. I'm assuming you'll pick the other one.
No, I can put it to you that Harrison Ford's the most overrated actor in Hollywood history.
What? What are you talking about? Overrated? How is he overrated? The dude probably brought in $1 billion.
I don't watch Star Wars because I like girls. Like You know, and I just never got the obsession with the Star Wars thing, so I never saw him as a big deal from that.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Indiana Jones, like, as a kid. Like,
What do you mean you didn't mind? It's classic stuff.
that was good, you know? Like, my favourite scene is when he just lets the guy walk backwards into a propeller. That was, that's about all I
fun, the big
remember.
bald guy.
I can't even remember which movie that's from. They all meld together for me.
That one, that's also Raiders of the Lost Ark.
There
That's
we go.
I'm
So
pretty
that
sure
was a
that's
good
when he's
film.
trying to escape.
But I'll go with the story of the murderer with the one arm, one leg, or the one arm man, or whatever. I'm going to go with The Fugitive.
Yes, that's a great film.
Because that one actually was a genuinely good movie.
That's Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, and I mean, his acting may not have been as good as it was in, say, Air Force One. I'm really reaching here. But I thought he was really good, and I really enjoyed The Fugitive.
Wow. A film I've never seen, and I've always wanted to see, it's on my list, is Blade Runner. Have you ever seen Blade Runner?
I have. Because I used to work at a video store and was somewhat of a, loved my films back in the day, back when you used to, not have to work that much when you're a teenager and you just sort of watch movies. And I have seen it, but I can tell you...
Or when you're retired.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that it's almost one of those ones where people got to go, oh, yeah, it's classic, it's great, but if you watched it, it's not that good. It's really not that good.
Really not good.
And if you're really into that sort of thing, like sci-fi and that sort of shit and film noir sort of stuff, you might enjoy it. But I kind of went back and watched it and went, yeah, I don't get the hype around it. Like, it's good, but it's not like, oh, that's a classic. You've got to love that. You know what I mean? Like,
what about The Devil's Own? I think The Devil's Own was a decent watch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was him. Was that him and Brad Pitt? I think Brad Pitt's from. He comes in. He's from the NRA or something like. Not the NRA.
Yeah.
I
forgot about that one.
Oh, where is it from? The Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
Or the Northern Ireland, whichever team he was from. Yeah, that was a decent watch. That was a decent watch as well. But still, once again, none of them touched the old Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
So which one are you going to lock down? Are you going to lock down Indiana Jones or are you going to lock down Empire Strikes Back?
I'm going to go Indiana Jones.
Yeah? Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, definitely.
This is going to get some interesting feedback because I know I'm going to get a lot of slander for my slander of Han Solo, Star Wars, and all things nerdy. But no, I reckon you chuck me down for Fugitive.
Okay.
You chuck yourself down for the Raiders.
Yep.
And we'll see what comes out of it.
Now we're going to have a little code word, which I still don't think people are catching on to at the moment.
Code word's Snammle.
Snammle.
Yeah, little man, he's been our guest host this week. So we need to get him in there. So if anyone mentions that in there, then that, in the Facebook comments their opinion is valid. Now, the one important thing, Steve, in order to get the feedback through the Facebook, maybe post it, around the same time I post the the podcast, not like a week later. This retired life has got you real lazy.
All right, well, I'm getting I'm on Photoshop right now.
Yep.
And I'll fire it up, so she'll be ready as soon as you.
We're going to put it straight out. We might have to move it to a fortnightly show, guys. I know rather than people messaging and going, "Hey, where's the show every week?" We might just bump it to fortnightly. That'll make it a little bit easier, especially with Steve's, demanding schedule that he's got right now. That's going to make everything easier. But that's going to be us for this fortnight, guys. For Speak Arrow 1 saying goodbye. For Steve Burrows,
see you later.
We'll speak to you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.